My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Additionally, it's time for the return of the referral code. If you're new here and you're just getting into the game, you've got to make an account on the Universe's gaming network. When you're signing up, you can use my exclusive referral code Alliteration to let Jasco know that I brought you on board, which directly supports me and my work. Having an account on the UGN site is going to allow you to sign up for tournaments, participate in events, locate stores that support the game near you, and much more. Playing in events and or mailing in pack wrappers is actually going to accrue loyalty points onto your account, which you'll then be able to redeem for exclusive promo cards in the mail for absolutely free. An account on here is an integral part of playing this game, so make sure you sign up and you use my code Alliteration to help me continue doing what I love. I would really appreciate the support. You guys absolutely killed it on the last one with all of the signups, and I am really excited to run it back with you all. Now, let's get on to the video. Good evening, my dear viewers, and welcome to another Alliteration Gaming video. My name's Levi, and today we're doing another build-a-deck. This one is coming from my patron Josh, who wants me to help him out with his Fire Symbol Shigaraki 1 deck. He said he's been very inspired by Muscle Rush to build Shigaraki now on the Fire Symbol, having access to that float combo type of ability to guarantee damage, and just wants to see how far he can push a mid-range deck like this into the meta. So let's see what we can do to optimize this bad boy. Just kind of give me the rundown on how on this Fire Shigaraki 1 deck, what brought you to it, and of course, you know, what you need my help with, what are you struggling with per se.
Yeah, I had never played Shigaraki before, but I had played. I had played a lot of Stain 1 for a while, which was a deck that you helped me tweak not too long ago, but. As we discussed ahead of this video, I'm looking to get a little more competitive, and I still wanted to. So I wanted to upgrade, but I still wanted to play a character that kind of had that mid-rangey feel, and Shigaraki really hit that. And then as soon as I saw that you can use Muscle Rush on Fire to pretty much guarantee his first response going off, I was like, okay. Fire's the play. It was Muscle Rush, and it was that, you know, there's, I can use Seizing, and I can use all the kind of natural speed pump in Fire. And I've been having a lot of fun with him. And I'll hold off on mentioning what I think the holes in the deck are, because I'm sure you have your own diagnosis. But I will say, like, the best part of him is also the worst part of him, which is he's a super dangerous character, and I think most people recognize that he's a really dangerous character, but the flip side of that is it means that people pay a lot of attention when they play against you, and your opponents usually don't make a lot of mistakes. So that is what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of the nice thing about Shigaraki is, yes, oh god, he's a mid-range character. Super duper hardcore mid-range character. He's a character that the second you sit down from, you have to either just like throw caution to the wind, play your normal game, and risk getting obliterated by him, or you sit down, you acknowledge his threat, you acknowledge his presence, and you play at his pace, which is what you want a mid-range deck to be forcing your rival to do, right, is play at your pace. Shigaraki 1 is a character that ever since I started playing this game, I loved to put into the hands of newer players who came in from like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or other games and were like, yeah, I usually play like, mid-range control, resource denial, that type of stuff. I would love to put this character into their hands and make them realize how the threat of certain things can really change the way that other people play the game. And likewise, when people wanted to learn how to get better at adapting to their rivals' playstyles, I love to put them against this character because he immediately tells you, hey, you don't get to go into my turn with 1 card in hand unless you're just down to lose like 10 health. Are you down to do that? Like, he definitely dictates the pace of the game, and I think that for a long time it was hard to get him off of the death symbol just because it had float combo, right? It had the muscle rush type of play. Even though fire was like globally always felt a little better for him, well, now fire's got that float combo as well. It's got the muscle rush now, and set by set this guy has just accrued so many fantastic pieces that I feel really have just made him a lot more of a threat as time goes on. So you've obviously got the muscle rushes down, number 1. Obviously that's, no matter what direction we go, that's going to be our 4 of right there. This is our piece that is really pushing this character right now in set 4 as just the freest 6 damage in the whole wide world.
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's like you said, it's the card that ties it all together. It's a little frustrating to get it late in the game, but in those first couple turns, when you get your hands on Muscle Rush, you can really feel the difference.
Yeah, it feels very strong, feels very powerful. But yeah, as you said, late game, if we plan on hitting them at some point, but anyway, regardless of their blocks, and we still need to close the game out, this card is not as strong as it could be, as opposed to like a real attack, right? A real attack that could just hit them normally and get that burn off. So that's where the rest of our lineup is going to come in. And so we've got a lot of things going on here. I see that everything aside from Muscle Rush is Fury, but our actual benefits for playing Fury are pretty minor right now. It's just, we've got these 2 stun grenades, we've got these Touch of Decays, which the combo is going to be our main thing there, right? But the big thing is we've only got a couple stun grenade and a couple prominence burn. So before we really move on with how I want to structure this attack lineup, I think that you have a big decision to make, Josh, in that, do you want to pursue a fully dedicated Fury route to take advantage of things like stun grenade, things like prominence burn, things like let's fight bad guys, soul piercing glare? There's a lot of benefits to playing this whole Fury lineup. One of the strongest things that I think Shigaraki 1 can do right now is prominence burn. Just a 6 high for 12, right? A 6 high for 12, it burns 3, and then says if you did manage to block it, the next one's probably not blockable. So strong. Now, on the other hand of things, there's a lot of cool things that we can be doing when we're not fully focused on Furies. First thing we have to consider is Muscle Rush is not a Fury. So if we go for a full Fury deck, this will sometimes clog things up a little bit, but we do just have to play it. We just have to. But as far as non-Fury things are concerned, there's a lot of cool things we get access to. We get Ice Storm Breaker 2, which is phenomenal. Breaker 2 is phenomenal. We get Freezer Burn to just make a very uninteractable attack. We get things like Blue Flame Palm Strike, a very fast move that snaps in momentum. We get Winged Nomu. This thing is insane. This thing is insane in Shigaraki. Echo is so good in Shigaraki. Taxing them to have that exact zone 2 times is really pressuring.
Oh man, I was ahead of this call. I was thinking, it feels like every time I do one of these deck builds with Levi, he gives me some like impossible, like fork in the road decision to make, and I was like, maybe this time I'm not going to have to make that call. Of course that was not the case. I'll be honest with you, man. They both sound great. I've really been liking the Fury synergy.
Awesome. I think both routes are like extremely fine. It is very hard to turn down how powerful Prominence Burn is inside of this character. It's just so much speed, and that's everything that we want. Also, most of the other things that we would run either way are also Furies. So, like, it's not like we're losing a lot of our general good stuff, right? By going between the two. We're still going to play a lot of our good Furies. So we're going to fully commit to Furies. We've got a couple things to look at. I think Hellflame Stomp is okay. I think this card is solid as our low attack threat. I think Exploding Pride could probably be a sideboard card.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I've been running it. I mean, I have the 2 in the main deck, and I've been keeping 2 in my sideboard, really just for the momentum hate. But I agree with that. I could probably live with him living more permanently in the sideboard.
Yeah, Turn to Dust is a weird one. Turn to Dust is, I feel like, a card that, I don't know, man. It Can't Be Fixed is just so everywhere right now. And I think so much of the value of this card is in Stun 2 that so many times it just feels like a really, really do-nothing move.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I'll say the one thing I really like about Turn to Dust is the EX2. What I have been doing a lot is, my first attack turn, I get a Muscle Rush off, or I use Seizing to get one of the other 4 diff attacks off, and then that next turn, when I'm really looking to get my response off, I can use that momentum and set off the EX2 on Turn to Dust, which is kind of cool.
It is quite nice. It is quite nice. As far as speed, though, as a commodity, we are gonna find it. Do not worry. Cool. So with a couple of those, weak-ish links identified, let's go down here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all these non-Furies because we are already playing Muscle Rush as a non-Fury, and I don't think that we get to do much more than that. I think that's probably just where things the breaks have to be, especially with Stun Grenade inside of our deck. We really want to be flipping Furies off the top. So going into here, the first thing, man, Ignited Arrow. This card is insane in Shigaraki. You just have to give them another attack or take 9. It is not fair.
Yeah, Ignited Arrow is one of those cards where, like, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this is okay, but I don't know if I love it enough to run it. And then I've actually had it played against me enough recently that I'm like, oh yeah, this card is awesome.
It's just nuts. It's very, 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 very good. When this card like first got shown, I was like, yeah, this thing's gonna be like actually everywhere. I put it like really high up in my like top 10 cards of set 3, and everyone was like, yeah, I guess this card's like fine. And then we all started to play with it. We were like, man, dude, this card is like in a character that just says it's actually 9 damage. This card is very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It also does not have to grab a Fury. So like on turn 1, you plop this down, it finds Muscle Rush, cool. There we are, boys. There we are. You plop this down, they block it, it finds Prominence Burn. There's the rest of our turn now. We know what we must do now.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's the one thing where sometimes you get into trouble with Stun Grenade is you especially in this deck, is you draw a bunch of cards, and the one red card you draw is the Muscle Rush, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, it can be a little bit of a downer there. So to bring the Ignited Arrows in, I think we can move Pride to the sideboard and probably take out Turn to Dust. I think is the next one that I would want to touch.
All right, let's do it.
We'll shove 4 of these bad boys in there. Full send. This card is just insane in our deck. Going from there, there's honestly a lot of really, really good options here. Long Lasting into Prominence Burn is like an expensive line, but man, +3 speed on your highs is so valuable inside of this character. The only thing is that we've currently got the Touch of Decays and we've got the Hellflame Stomps. I think they make Long Lasting a little hard to play because there's very few times where you're going to want to find the damage on Long Lasting. Most of the time, you're much more trying to value that 3 speed so that your attack can get through, because the second you hit them, you're pretty much down to stop. Down to stop. Making your Touch of Decay now 7 damage it's got a floating 5 from Shigaraki. They have to block it either way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could go. I'm. Hey, man, I'm going on this journey with you. Yeah, it's tough because Touch of Decay is such a. I think they're both. I think that I'm getting stuck because I think they're all really good cards. If I could have 100 copies of them each in my deck, I'd want 100 copies.
I feel that, man. I feel that. I think Touch of Decay, I do really like this card. The only thing, honestly, that keeps me kind of like down on this card is that we're playing Muscle Rush lines. So if we want to play Muscle Rush, like, I mean, the thing about Muscle Rush is, like, if you hit with Muscle Rush, you're probably just down to stop there, right? And just build and just chill out. But there will be times where, like, you have to draw, like, your late game kill turn, and you're playing 4 Touch of Decays, and 4 of your cards don't work with Touch of Decay, right? If you have, like, Muscle Rush, a Fury, and a Touch of Decay, that's cool, but now your Touch of Decay is on a 6, and are you really going to try and replay it on a 6 as well? After committing one for the combo, it kind of just makes it a little messy sometimes.
Fair, totally fair.
I think it makes it a little messy, and you can probably play a bit. There's more good stuff we can play. I think Nitro Ignition is crazy in our deck. This card is so good in our deck. It is just a 5-speed 4 diff. Just a wild 5-speed 4 diff. It snags us free momentum when we do Prominence Burn things. And it can just randomly clear itself to give Powerful 2. The Powerful 2 is sometimes just not even relevant. You can just go, I'll play Ignition, I'll play another move, I will now clear this from progressive difficulty. It's just gone. It's just gone, and I get to play more cards, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's, and again, we were talking about speed before, and just having a printed 5-speed is really nice.
It's very fast. It's very, very fast, and it's very, very strong. On a similar vein, Rapid Punches is just a 5-speed low attack. And that's just good. That's also just really good.
We're in the age of Rapid Punches.
Rapid Punches is insane. I actually think Rapid Punches is just straight better than Hellflame Stomp. Losing 2 for a paying 2 health for a 6 low for 4, or just having a 5 low for 4 that on hits draw a card, I think that's just better, actually.
I'm totally on board with Rapid Punches. I actually just put in my redemption order with Jasko for a full set of Rapid Punches, and when they get mailed to me in 4 years, I look forward to putting them in my deck.
Hell yeah, they're going in this bad boy. Yeah, this card's crazy. And then, like, when you find multiple, they're just gonna get faster and faster, and it's very, very, very good. It's very, very, very good. This card's fantastic. From there, I think. We're going real heavy on it. Prominence Burn probably needs to at least be a 3 of. 4, okay. Yeah. 4 might be excessive, because you don't really want to draw 2 of them unless you have like 1,000,000 foundations, right? Yeah. Like, unless you just have 1,000,000 foundations, you don't really want much more of them. From there, by that same logic, I think a Stun Grenade we could bump up to a 3 of. We only have 4 non-Furies in our deck, so it's probably okay.
Yeah, I feel that. I think 3 of makes sense for that.
And then from there, honestly, I think I would just like to find something better than Touch of Decay. I think Ignition is a fantastic option. You could at that, so like since we put the Rapid Punches in, I think I'm like not as hot on Long Lasting, because at that point we have 8 targets, 8 cards in our deck that it just doesn't work with. That does not feel fantastic. And then we have 3 more that also doesn't feel fantastic, because again, we're trying to get the speed. We're trying to get the speed from that thing. So I'm kind of writing these off. Howitzer Cyclone is just amazing. It's just very good. It's a base 6 damage. It's got powerful 3. It fuels itself. It draws cards. This thing is fantastic, but it also does ask for combo Fury. So we're gonna kind of run into those little bit issues there, where the muscle rushes might slow us down a tad. Also, we're like less concerned with the big damage, right? Because we're Shigaraki 1.
Yeah.
Our move has that floating 5. It honestly might just not be. It might just be like a worse version of what we're doing with Prominence Burn. Just this big dunk, like, sort of combo move. but this one gets a ton of speed across our things, and this one gets a ton of damage, and our character just wants that speed a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, for exactly that reason, because Shigaraki is more of a take your bite out of your opponent and then kind of hang back and try to survive the next turn. I'm leaning towards Nitro.
Yeah, I think Nitro is the way to go. Nitro is just like a much better poke, right? A much better poke. I think we can scrap the Touch of Decays and then put in like 3 Nitro, and I think that brings us down to our original attack number there. And now this is like super clean, right? We can poke them with Muscle Rush, and that's our turn. If we don't have Muscle Rush, we can poke them with 4 Ignited Arrows or 4 Rapid Punches, which either asks them to make a really good low block or give us another attack. Stun Grenade is a fantastic poke that can also get us another attack, just like Ignited Arrow. Nitro is a really annoying poke, and then when it's time to just like really throw the pain down, that's where the Prominence Burns are going to come in.
Yeah, it's looking really good, and yeah, thank you for going on the Fury ride with me, because yeah, there's still that awesome kind of Fury synergy in here.
Yeah, dude, I love Prominence Burn. I think this card's insane. Any deck that can like play this card really well is certified seal of approval. I love decks that are so down to jam this card. So let's see, so we did scrap those Hellflame Stomps, so our low blocks are not looking very pretty anymore. So we are gonna keep this number in mind as we go through our foundations. We have a lot of really good stuff in here. One of the nicest things about being Shigaraki is that we actually get to play Keen Observation on the fire symbol, because God, does the fire symbol struggle to have really good zeros. Getting Keen Observation as like an actual card with text is really nice for us. I'm not in love with the 2 in danger, but I am in love with having more than 8 zeros.
Yes, and I mean, that's one of the things I love about playing Shigaraki is taking those opportunities to sit back and work on my build is always really fun, and comfortable, and the reason I dislike playing 5-handers.
Yeah, trust me, you don't gotta sell me there, man. We are resident 5-hand size hater, Levi Lalonde right here. So there's a couple things that I do kind of want to trim here. I think the one of League Interview doesn't have much place here, just because we're like opening on a 4 diff, right? We're always opening on a 4 diff. These are all 4 diffs now.
Yeah, I'd be happy. Frankly, I'd be happy to get rid of it. I can't tell you how many times I've had it sitting on the field and I'm not using the first form because it always owns me. And 9 times out of 10, my opponent actually gets mad at me for not using the first form. So let's just get rid of that card.
Okay, hang on though. That's a tilt angle. Maybe we judged it too harshly. We can tilt our rivals. I think Stare Down is okay. We might just leave it in because it's a low block, to be honest. Yeah. We might just leave it in because it's a low block. I actually just really want to look at a lot of our spams here. Press Conference, we're a Prominence Burn deck. This is 4 of.
Cool.
We want to play this on a 6, not on a 7. Press Conference is amazing. Speed, the most important thing in the world for our character. I am a big fan of the 4 bad guys, 4 fastest flame pursuit.
Yeah, love it. Into it.
I like just having 8 spams that say flip for 2 speed is crazy. Being able to consistently go like, okay, it's turn 1, here's rapid punches, first enhance, flip one of these 2. Can you block this 7 low on turn 2? Probably not. Probably not. Unless you built like really good interaction. Probably not.
Yeah, and I know Fastest Flame can be a little divisive. I know some people really like it and some people really don't. I've never had a bad experience with it.
No, I think this card's just good. And then like even when we find like both of these on board, it's okay because we can still use both. Shigaraki is a character that is so okay with going, I will flip 2 foundations for 4 speed, hit you, with my 4 damage move. You'll take an extra 5 now. That was a good turn for me, bro. That was a good turn for me. Like we are just very dead set on getting that poke in every turn, and I think that having the 8 spams that can pump that speed, it's a big part of that. So those are the ones that I really like at super high copies. I'm trying to figure out if I like latent skill inside of this deck or not.
Yeah. So what I'll say about latent skill, I think I'm actually leaning towards less of them now. I think before it made a little more sense because I didn't have as much card draw. Now that's not it. Now because of ignited and having the extra stun grenade, that's not as much of a problem.
Yeah, and like, sure, we want to go like attack into prominence burn, but that's not like a crazy string or anything, you know? Like, we don't have to sculpt for that. It's literally just any of these 4, 8, 11, 14 attacks, and then we draw prominence burn, and that's like all she wrote.
Yeah.
We're also not like trying to like, you know, super duper go in on turn 2, right? You know, we're not trying to go like, okay, I need to see like 4 attacks on turn 2, you know? Like, we're not trying to aggressively sculpt. So I think this card could go, we need low blocks. Irrefutable, I think, should be like a 3 of inside of our deck. Being able to interact with the rivals like Speed Hate, being able to stop their wall clings on our muscle rushes, this card is just so important.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was already sideboarding an extra one anyway, just because he seems to make a lot of sense in this meta. You know, he strikes out at earth cards and he strikes out at water cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's definitely like a ton of very relevant pieces for you to be sealing with this card. Not to mention being able to, like, as expensive as like remove to seal anything can be, if that is the thing that lets your 5 burn damage get through for the turn, that's worth it. Like, that is just worth it to you. If you sealed that one thing that was stopping you from getting there, it's just always worth it. Just always worth it.
Agreed.
Nervous Habit I also really like in this deck. If our mids were not so inflamed, I wish we could have even more of these in here, because these are just like super good exchange rates. Lose a health for a speed in our character that so desperately wants to hit them is really good. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. How do you feel about the soul piercing glares?
I'm of two minds. I'm of two minds about it. I do absolutely love this card. I think being able to commit and then flip one of my opponent's cards, it's really the only kind of control-y thing that this deck does, and I love it. It's really helped me out in the past. The only reason it's a 2 of is because I used to have a lot of stun in the deck, and so I had a lot of opportunities to use this card. I'd probably be okay moving it down to a 1 of now that, you know, stun's not really a thing I do as much of.
Yeah, I think between Irrefutable and especially Season the Advantage, I think we have enough interaction with our rivals board.
Okay.
But I guess so let's look at some of the things I want to put in, because they might convince you otherwise. Self-assured, insane in our character. We want to completely block you. Insane in our character.
I can dig it.
This just says that we don't have to like desperately hold one of each zone going into the rival's turn, just to make sure that we get our response off, because that is one of like the hardest things about playing this character is like you want to build to like accelerate your game state, but you feel like you can only play 3 of your 6 cards every turn, just because if you know, just in that chance, right, that you hold a high and a mid, they open with a low, and you don't get to respond now, that just feels so bad. It feels so bad. And then you end up using your mid block because you don't want to take it, and then they play their mid attack, and you're like, oh my god, it's all ruined.
Wow, it almost feels like you've been watching like the last 3 games I played.
Yeah, I've played a lot of games with this character. Self-assured is like one of my favorite pieces. It was like the reason I was so hot on this guy, on fire, even back in the day. And I still think it's an extremely good thing for him to be doing. So that's one that I really want us to think about. Heroic Lineage, there should just be 4 of these in our deck. There just should be. It's a low block. It's a free -3 speed on anything that gets threatening, and in our rapid punches increase speed and our prominence burn increase speed, it's free extra damage as well.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That's actually the one, you know, the one thing I've really been running into trouble with lately is I have a lot of cards that boost my own speed, but with the exception of something like ice gliding, I run into trouble when I have to deal with my opponent's really fast attacks. So
yeah, we are a character that does want to block quite a bit. Ice gliding is very good speed reduction, but it definitely helps to have some more. And given that we cannot end this video with 12 low blocks in our deck. We can't do it. So they do need to come in. We also only have 15 highs. So I'm going to say right now that we are only allowed to take mids out of our deck for the time being.
All right, fair.
I'm a Shigaraki lover. I'm a blue card lover. I might have to break your heart because I don't know if Evil Gaze should be in our deck.
I knew this was coming. It's fine. I've made my peace with it.
It is purely off of the back of Chivalrous Competitor being one of the most registered cards in the entire game right now. Our Evil Gazes just don't have text against that card. They just do not.
I can't argue with that.
That's another reason why I'm kind of not so hot on the Soul Piercing Glares anymore.
Yeah. All right. Let's just. You know what? I'll shed my tears for it after the video. But let's cut it.
The tears have been shed. The tears have been shed. So that was 4 cards. So let's throw in those 4 heroic lineages right now, so that I can stop looking at this scary 12 low block number. It's now slightly less scary. I definitely want to get the Selfish Sherds in here as well. So let's take a look at what mid blocks we can possibly cut from our deck. We've got like 1 million spams. We actually have like almost no non-spams in this deck. Holy cow, that's actually kind of spooky. But I mean, like, these spams are all very good. Arrogant feels hard to cut because it is our low block. I really like our 8 speed pumps. Maybe Calling for Backup could go.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Again, it was really great before because I didn't have a lot of card draw. That's not as much of a problem now, so I would totally be on board for cutting down backup.
Yeah, I'm like always down for draw power in our mid-range character, but I just think that our other foundations are more important. I think our speed pump's more important. I think our speed reduction in ice gliding is more important. I think press conference is more important. It's also got the block zone that we want to get rid of, so it's a tough call, but I think that it might just have to be the one that doesn't fit anymore. So from there, let's put in 2 Selfish Swords. And so we're now at a 66 card deck, 17, 33, 16. Still kind of aggressive on the mid block side of things, but we do have Selfish Swords in our deck now, so it might not be as bad. I really like seizing the advantage in this deck. I really like seizing the advantage in this deck. It's got the speed that we want. It lets us interact with our rival's board. It's so good to open like seizing into like rapid punches or nitro, because that's just like so much speed on turn 2. As far as other actions go, I had a couple options here that to kind of consider, like instead of the Evil Gazes. I'm honestly, just because of how bloated our mid blocks are, I'm leaning more towards just like having more foundations in the deck instead of those other 2. Do any of these actions like thrill you?
I know they're all great cards. I haven't played a ton with Go for the Win or Capture Evildoers, but I've been on the other end of them, and I have played with Cremation, so I love them all. But I think I'm leaning in the same. I think I'm leaning in the same direction as you. I think with the 4 seizings, I might be okay just to up the other cards. Foundation.
Yeah, obviously you get a side capture Evildoers all day, every day. We are a Capture Evildoers symbol. We side capture Evildoers. This is simply the law of the land. But as far as the main deck goes, I think 4 season is probably just all of the main deck actions that you need. So we're at a 66 card deck right now at 21 attacks, which is pretty much okay ratio wise. I suppose it's a matter of, do you want to work on these block zones anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could get the low up by another one, just because it feels like, again, we're living in the age of rapid punches. It feels like I'm always coming up against low attacks now.
Yeah, I feel like maybe our endangers can just go. Maybe we have to live with 8 zeros.
Yeah, I'll defer to you on it if you think it's okay. I'm in the Levi camp. Uh, I think Endanger kind of sucks. By the
Yeah,
time
it's
we
not
use
good.
it,
It's
at
not
a point.
good.
Yeah.
It's just not a very good card. I'm just such a fan of like the 10-0 number, but for what it's worth, I also think that number's a little more important in seven-handers, where you're really, really wanting to get that guaranteed 4 builds that you don't die.
Is there a world where maybe we split the difference? We bring Endanger down to a one of?
I mean, we could. It depends like what we're gonna think about putting in. As far as our highs and lows in here, Forcing Surrender is a pretty nice low. We don't really get to combo with it anymore, but it is still just like nice card pool protection. You could also go like, you could also just go with like a third self-assured if you were really thinking that much about like the zone swapping.
Ooh, yeah, that might be a cool play.
I think that would be super fine. You could bring the Endangered to a 1 of, put the Self-Assured to a 3 of. I also would like to get like 1 or 2 Frozen in here, because this card is really, really good when you're just trying to go in on them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, I'm always a little spooked when it comes to deep building, but I also concede that there's a point in the game where sometimes you just have to do that and like go for it.
Yeah, when you're ready to just like, you know, I mean, you're a mid-range deck, right? You've made it to, you know, turn 5, turn 6 or whatever, and you're finally ready to go in on them. As we're committing all of these cards to play our Prominence Burns, just start frozening them away. You can also do really cool things like Ice Gliding, commit for the bonus speed, frozen it away. Lineage, commit for the bonus damage, frozen it away. Irrefutable, commit to seal, frozen it away.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We could... What would you say about trimming the last Endanger? And then... Man, I don't know, dude. Our foundations are so good. I think we could at least trim the last Endanger for a 1 of Frozen.
All right.
That puts us at 19 and 16, which I feel a little bit better about, especially with 3 Self-Assured inside of our deck.
Yeah, I can. I think I could live with that. I also just kind of developed an understanding of what the deck stability number means, and 1.94 feels pretty good for a deck like this.
Yeah, no, I think this is a super solid place to be. And that's going to be it for this Fire Shigaraki 1 Build-A-Deck. Big thanks again to Josh for commissioning this video alongside me. If you really enjoyed it, I would love some feedback down below. And if you want an experience just like this, you can check out my Patreon linked in the description and in the pinned comments for the Build-A-Deck tier or any of the other tiers I have that let you decide what type of videos I make directly and forever submit yourself as a part of the channel. Above all else though, thanks just for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope I can see you in the next one.